So a very good afternoon to all the participants who are gathered here. So now we are in the last session of our 5-day online faculty development program on ICT tools for teaching and learning pedagogy. So for this session, we have with us Dr. CLV RSP Prasad sir. Sir is a principal of GMRIT, and sir is going to handle a session on NEP 2020 and enabler for online teaching and learning. And sir has begun his academic career in 1986. After completion of his MTech from NIT Warangal, moved from SVH College of Engineering, Machilipatnam to Sir C.R. Reddy College of Engineering, Eluru in 1990, where he served for over 15 years and became the professor and head of Mechanical Engineering Department. There played a pivotal role in developing the systems and facilities, creating SOPs and documentations needed for university and statutory compliances, and also served as a principal in charge subsequently. After receiving his PhD degree from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam in 2003, he moved to GMR Institute of Technology in 2005 as Dean Academic Affairs and became its principal in 2008. At GMRIT, he established technology-enabled teaching and learning environment to supplement the classroom learning, and students were provided access to the digital learning content for more than 300 courses on campus LAN, where all the lectures are made available session-wise and made the campus Wi-Fi enabled. He spearheaded all the IQAS initiatives leading to accreditation of all the programs by NBA during 2007 and NAC accreditation with A grade during 2010. Later, during 2012, under his leadership, the GMRIT got registered with UGC under Section 2 of F and 12 of B and achieved autonomous status. After getting autonomous status, initiated the implementation of outcome-based education, and in the year 2015, he spearheaded the initiative getting of all the 6 UG programs NBA accredited under Tier 1 third cycle for 6 years. He has published research articles in several reputed national and international conferences and journals. As a principal investigator, Sir received DST funded research projects worth rupees 1.75 crore and supervised 3 research scholars, leading to the award of PhD degree, apart from supervising many PG students for their MTech projects. With the financial sponsorship from DST and UGC, attended and presented papers at ASME conferences in Canada and USA. Also attended and presented a paper at CARP conferences in Italy. He is a fellow of Institution of Engineers, India, life member of IST and member of ASME and IEEE. Apart from being a member in different committees and academic councils, he has also been nominated by UGC as an expert committee member to evaluate the institutions for the renewal and refresh award of autonomous status. Government of Andhra Pradesh has nominated him as a member for the Executive Council, JNTUK Kakinada, AP, for the term 2016-19. Andhra Pradesh State Council for Higher Education, APSHI, has nominated him as a member admission committee of AP PG ECET for the period 2018-19. So with this welcome note, I would like to call our principal, Dr. CLV RSP Prasad sir, to take over the session.
Thank you, Shivshankari. Thank you very much for your introduction, and I take this opportunity, and it is my great pleasure and honor to be a part of this 5-day workshop, which is mostly talking on usage of ICT tools in teaching learning process. In my session, probably I may not be directly talking or dealing with any of the ICT tools, but I'll be more dwelling upon the new education policy that was introduced by the Government of India in 1920, which is predominantly promoting and enabling the usage of technology and technology integration in teaching learning process, wherein the usage of ICT tools has become a mandate for the teachers down the line. So that is a perception. I would like to take the context, and then I want to just make all the participants understand and how this new education policy is going to influence, and what are the major parameters and the various points on which it is envisaged for the next 15 years, I should say 20 years, from 2020 to 2040. What are all the proposed changes that the government of India is trying to bring as a new policy, and what are the changes and reforms that the government of India want to bring in typically in the higher education system. So now I'd like to share my screen. So all of you can see my screen?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Is visible?
Yes, sir.
And to the possible extent, we'll try to have the session more interactive, and I think that if anybody is there who want to communicate or give some comments, you can use chat box, so that now and then I'll be seeing the chat box and try to answer your queries. And we will see, to a certain extent, we'll see that the engagement of the participants is live. So that's what I'd like to make sure from all the participants. So is my screen is into the presentation mode?
Yes, sir.
So well, the National Education Policy, the 2020, an enabler for online teaching and learning is the topic that I have chosen here. To begin with, I'll be setting the context of this new education policy. Way back in 2005, the National Commission. I request all the participants to keep yourself in
I
mute.
request all the participants to put their devices in the mute.
Or Anil or Shivsankar, you can take over and keep everybody in the mute, so that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm making them mute.
Yeah. So way back in 2005, National Knowledge Commission was constituted under the chairmanship of Mr. Shyam Petroda, and it has come up with a report for 4 long years, that is 2009. And the main focus of this National Knowledge Commission areas are one is access, concepts, creation, application, and services to build the knowledge society. And as an outcome of this National Knowledge Commission, to expand the capacity and improve the quality of the higher education in the country, as an outcome of the 12th plan of the country, 12th development plan, the government of India established 8 IITs, 10 NITs, 20 IIITs on PPP mode, and 3 IISCRs and 7 IIMs across the country. This happened in way back in 2009. 9 and 10. So this is a great move that the government of India has taken up in enhancing the scope for higher education across the country by establishing the premier institutions. And in the same year, during 2009, the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act has been come into force in April 2020, which entitles every child of the age of 6 to 14 years should have compulsory education. That means up to 10th class, the education is compulsory for every individual in the independent country of India. So that was an act which came into force, and that was there since then. Everybody has a mandate of going for education till class 10th. Next, in 2015, to keep up the pace with the new industry requirements and also the technology development, the new education policy with a multi-pronged approach involving all the stakeholders has been initiated by Government of India. That is only just an initiation. And in May 2016, after 1 year after initiating, a committee headed by late Shri TSR Subramaniam, former cabinet secretary, has made a rough draft, but the rough draft did not come to light and ultimately did not take any lead in the implementation. Later, in the same year in 2016, because of this delay in the new education policy coming in, an expert AICT team has been constituted under the leadership of Dr. BVR Mohan Reddy. He is the science chairman, science technology chairman, for the short and medium term perspective plan for the higher educations, and that happened in the year 17-18, and they have come up with an approval. And the recommendations are as such to hold all the new approvals by of the higher educations as the overall capacity utilization in both UG and PG is as low as 49.8%, wherein 40% is the occupancy in core disciplines and 60% is the occupancy in computer science and circuit branches. So this is an indication that to what extent the higher education facilities that are there established in the country are being utilized by the stakeholders. So almost 50%. So having 50% of the seats vacant in both UG and PG, then the committee felt that the announcement of the opening of the new education beyond after 16-17 has been completely doesn't make any sense. So the committee recommended for to stop approvals. But in fact, it did not happen subsequently. That has ultimately ended up in again as only a recommendation given by the committee. Later in the month of December 2018, a 11-member committee headed by the great scientist Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Kasur Rangan, has submitted a draft for the new education policy in 2019. And this NEP, which has come up from Dr. Kastur Rangan, focused more on integration of the school education and higher education with the seamless systems, taking care of the needs of the industry in the years coming, and to enhance the GER, the gross enrollment ratio. The gross enrollment ratio as on today is around 26, and the NEP is envisaging to reach to 50. The basic reason for this gross enrollment ratio on the lower side, that could be, in my perception, I should say that we have the compulsory education is only up to class 10th. So there are all, and so being the 10th class is the limit for the compulsory education for the kids. There are a lot of school dropouts getting out, and ultimately +2 being the basic requirement and eligibility for the higher education, there is a 2 years gap. So obviously people could not go for the higher education because there is a 2 years gap of education coming in. And I think that gap has been identified and it has been taken care by this new education policy, so that the school education and higher education has been integrated. Now, expecting by the decade 2030 to 2040 that the entire policy will be into operational mode, and the NEP is approved by the Union Cabinet during July 2020. So finally, in the July 2020, the new education policy has been rolled out by the Government of India. Now, once it has been rolled out, obviously the vision of the new education policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skill, values, and disposition that support responsible commitment to human rights, development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. This is a great vision statement that has been envisaged by the new education policy. Actually, the vision is more envisions on the education system, in fact, which is deep-rooted with the Indian ethos that contributes directly to the transforming India sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society, and thereby making an India a global knowledge super. The idea is to make India as a super global knowledge superpower. And another point is that the curriculum and pedagogy of the institutions create deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and the conscious awareness of one's role and responsibilities in the changing world. So these are the two things more focused as far as the vision is concerned. Now, I'll just take through you the various parameters that are there that have been listed in the new education policy, that is starting from the school education, higher education, and the other focus areas, and also the implementation plan. The part one of this education policy talks about the school education. Education, the areas that are covered or focused are the early childhood care and education, which is mostly focusing on preschool, where it is being implemented through the Balbert. Something went wrong.
It is
No,
okay,
sir.
sir.
It's
Now
okay.
it is okay, sir.
I think there is a drop in the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see my screen, right? Okay. In fact, no, this is what happens in the online. So ultimately, if something goes wrong, I think we should not go panic and wait for 30 seconds or so to 1 minute. I think the things will restored and we'll get back to the again the regular mode. So the third point is reintegrating the dropouts and ensuring universal access to education. And then curriculum and pedagogy developments in the schools, the teacher and the teacher capacity building, equitable and inclusive education, and then efficient resourcing and effective governance through school complexes and merging. That means making into schools into clusters. Regulation and accreditation of school education for quality assurance. As of now, there are no regulations and accreditation agencies for schools quality education. So that's what the points that are there covered in part one that comes under the school education. Next, coming to the part two that talks about the higher education in the policy. It is to establish the quality universities and colleges with institutional restructuring and consolidation towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education. That is the main focus. And also for the optimal learning environment, creating optimal learning environment and support for students by ensuring and motivating energized and capable faculty. So again, you all know that the paucity of the faculty is one of a big hitch in the higher education that is also more focused on the new education policy. And third point is equity and inclusion in higher education, just in the same way it was written in the school education. And then teacher education reforms and reimagining vocational education. As on today, vocational education is being taught and is taken into the separate channel. But the new education policy envisage a system where the vocational education, new education policy is being looked at. And fourth one is catalyzing academic research in all the fields through a new national research foundation. A new national research foundation will be formulated and established to promote and to catalyze the quality academic research. And finally, the other one is transforming the regulatory system of higher education for effective governance and leadership for higher institutions. As of now, in all the higher educations, for every education system, there is one regulatory body. So they want to have a unified regulatory body by integrating all the institutions, all the regulatory agents to a single agency. There's another initiative that has been initiated in the higher education system. Coming to the part three, the other key focus areas where the new education policy is working on is on the professional education, that is for the teacher education, and the other one is adult education and lifelong learning. The care is very much taken to ensure that the system enables for the lifelong learning and the promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture with an equal importance with the professional education, and the usage of technology and integration of the technology with the teaching learning system, and the online and the digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. So this is part three is primarily focusing on integration of technology in teaching learning process, which is indirectly making every teacher to understand the importance of the technology integration and digital transformation that's going to happen in the higher education system, where it is a mandate for all the teachers to get acquainted with the all the what is that ICT tools, that is information and communication tools, which will enhance the efficiency of the teaching learning process and also make the students more comfortable for learning to happen. And fourth one is the fourth part of the education policy is to roll out the plan, that is to making it happen. So here for that, the three parameters that are strengthening the central advisory board of education so that it will take care for easy rollout, and then creating proper budget for financing and making it affordable and with a quality education for all, and also an implementation and migration plan with a specific timelines. So the initial plan has to be rolled out, and then for migrating the existing system into the new system. So this is what that happened. I mean, taking care of the fourth stage of the fourth part of this new education policy. So this is the overall layout of the new education policy. And now we will look into specifically what are the major reforms are there that are coming in the new education policy, typically for higher education. So before that, let us see the objectives of the new education policy. So the policy is built on the four foundation pillars. The earlier when the pillars are different, now it is access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. So here access is one, which ultimately enables to see that every individual in the country has free access irrespective of his location from J&K to Kanyakumari. And equity. Equity is that now more a buzzword nowadays heard in every area. It is not the equality, it is equity. Everybody gets equal share of the opportunities. That is talking about equity. And then apart from that, in scaling up with quality maintenance and making the education more affordable to all the people across all the cross sections of the public, and also making the people who are in the education system accountable. So these are the four pillars on which this new education policy has been built. The policy aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society. So that is what actually policy talks about. And here the policy focuses mainly on school education, that is and college education, and to have in a make India into a more knowledge superpower by providing holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary education aligned with the 21st century skills. Now again, nowadays there is completely a paradigm shift in the education. There's a paradigm shift, and anyhow we'll slightly see some information about the basic paradigm shift in teaching learning process and what is that we exactly talk about in this 21st century skills. And the other one is to bring the reforms aiming at bringing out the unique skill based capabilities for each student. The capabilities are skill based, not on knowledge based. That is also again a paradigm shift that we see in the education system, moving from knowledge based to the skill based. Now we look at the major reforms and also the scope in the higher education that has been brought by the new education policy. The first major reform that and the scope that the new education policy is looking at, as I told in the earlier, which is aiming at 50% of the gross endowment ratio by 2035. From that of the present one is 26.3. So as of now, it is 26.3. So now, by integrating the school education with the higher education, by bringing +2 into the school education, the +2 education, which is called as intermediate education, which is in between the school education and the higher education, now by the new education policy has been integrated into the school education, and compulsory education is for now 12 years, not 10 years. Earlier, the Compulsory Education Act is for 10 years. As per the new education policy, the compulsory education is for 12 years, so that everybody have a mandate of taking the school the 12 years of compulsory education. So by the 12 years compulsory education will get educated to +2. So when all the students get educated to +2, then it means that the eligibility for the students to get into higher education is attained. So obviously, it doesn't give any scope for the school dropouts. So that is a reason the government is intelligently has integrated +2 into the school education, so that the eligibility for higher education will be enabled, so that it is confirmed that with the next coming 15 years, the GER will be getting enhanced to 50% from 26% now. So here the transform towards, again, another point is to transform towards a holistic, multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary education. As of now, all the institutions are like standalone institutions in silos. For example, a medical school will offer only medical education, a law school will offer only law education in law, an engineering school will offer only in engineering, and so on, so like that. But now the new education policy is talking about providing colleges with the holistic education by integrating and providing multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary education, and establish model multidisciplinary education and research universities in every district across the country. These are other new initiatives that is, government of India is going to take up. When once the government want to integrate the higher education from all the disciplines, there should be a model institution for the private players to look at. So for that, in every district, government want to establish one education research university wherein they offer all the programs in multidisciplinary areas. That could be medicine, engineering, education, law, biology, everything, whatnot. Every program will be offered in these institutions. Next one is to initiate a national mission on mentoring the institution and nominate independent board of governors for all the universities to ensure the quality of the quality of the education, and also to ensure the quality governance. This is again another, see again, the quality governance plays a vital role in ensuring any new policy for implementation. And bring out a single regulation for higher education except for legal and medical. So except keeping away the legal and medical authority, the government of India want to integrate all the higher education regulations under a single umbrella and bring one regulation. As of now, for example, you have got AICT for engineering, and then for UGC for all other degree sciences and all, something like that. So they want to bring a one regulation for all the higher education except for legal and medicine. And self online disclosure of higher education in a hard copy mode, where, and also a committee. So there will be a committee constituted. The committee need to go to the spot, visit the facilities, ensure all the facilities are available. Then only the program institutions are approved. So now that will be given up down the line. It improves completely purely online self-disclosure based transparent system for approvals. So here a lot of logistics will be saved, and a lot of money will be saved, and a lot of more and above time will be saved. And common norms for public and private. As of now, the norms that are being followed in private and public institutions are different. But now, as per the new policy, the norms remain same. So these are some of the major reforms that we look at. And to continue that, as of now, we had an investment of, I should say, 0.68% of GDP in education. But the new education policy is envisaging an investment in the education sector, and they're expecting to reach to 6% of the GDP by, in fact, in the next 10 years. So actually, when the new education policy, the first education policy that took off in 1986, only 0.68 GDP is being used, is been spent for the education. But now, to ultimately the new policy is saying to huge and Herculean task, and people are working on it to ensure that in the next coming 10 years, the more will happen. And now, as now the regulatory systems are very stringent, and now they want to make it more liberalized, and internalization of the education enabling the global institutions to establish in India and vice versa. So now they open the gates, make or allow all foreign universities to is here in India and offer degrees. Similarly, they also permit the enthusiastic entrepreneurs of Indian origin to establish universities outside country. So this is something like education globalization. One is integration of vocational, teacher and professional education with flexibility and choice. So now, as I told earlier, now vocational courses are now being introduced in the professional education. It could be any education for that matter. They'll be having a flexibility of taking any degree from a single institution, and also they have a choice of selecting the course and moving from one specialization to the other specialization. And the flexible credit carryover system with easy exit and entry by choice of credentials. So here this another highly revolutionized reform that is trying to propose actually. In fact, there could be a lot of functional challenges for these things to happen. It is something like, as of now, for example, if you take engineering, engineering is 4 years. If a student get admitted in first year of engineering, he need to stay and do the course for 4 long years, and then he need to complete the degree and get the degree. He has no option of quitting. If he, for any reason, if he quits after first year, he has to forfeit and ultimately the year go waste. But now, with the system that is being implemented or suggested here, with this flexible credit carryover system, the credit earned in 1 year of study will be put up in the reserve, and the student has an option of exiting after first year and then have a break. After 3-4 years, he can come and join in the same institution or join in any other institution and get the credits again from the second year to third year. Similarly, third year to fourth year. As such, year on year, with a break, student has an option of acquiring the credits, and finally, once the student gets the graduation requirements in terms of the number of credits required for the graduate, he will get a degree. So, to that extent, extreme extent, I should say, the government of India is giving flexibility for the credit carryover system, and with an easy exit and entry at any point of time during the course by the choice of the student based on the credentials. And also, the new policy enables the standalone higher education institutions and professional institutions to evolve into multidisciplinary institutions. As of now, for example, let us say there are engineering colleges. Engineering colleges are offering only programs in engineering. Now we can do in agriculture, and we can do in medicine, we can do in education, we can do in pharmacy, we can do in any other course. And also in that way, an institution will be now permitted to offer programs of any profession, not only confined to one single profession. So as of now, profession-wise institutions are there. It could be pharmacy, it could be your education, it could be engineering, or it could be something like medicine. So now all these institutions will be given opportunity to offer multiple discipline programs. And government is also looking at establishing special education zones, just like SEZs in the context of the industries. Special economic zones are those zones which are established by the government for promoting industries and for promoting the export. So in the similar way, government is also planning to establish special education zones to support socio-economic disadvantaged groups. There are some areas where they are deprived about the quality education. So in that areas, government is going to establish these zones so that the people who are typically from the underprivileged sectors and from the deprived areas who are falling short of the opportunities, this will be a great help for them. And government is going to establish the National Education Technology Forum to set the standards for online digital learning. Now, as I said earlier, the new education policy is promoting completely online education and online degrees. Having said all these things, there should be always a standardization system so that the people need to look at for quality digital learning systems to ensure effective teaching and learning. So for that, a National Education Technology Forum will be established, which will be standardizing this online digital learning. So now with this, the information what I had till now, let me check. I'll have a break here. I want to check that we are all just. I want to check all the audience are there with me or not. So you can raise your hands if you're all with me. I'll stop sharing the screen. Share my screening now. So before I stop sharing, all of you are there in the systems and mobiles. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All the participants who are there in front of the systems, or you may also have the mobile. So here I want to just to have a cross check that and to understand whether you're all there moving with me or not. So here I'm just trying to take a poll, and there is a link given here. So there are two options for you to access the link. You can directly type in the link in the browser and get into that link, or there is a QR code. If you have a mobile where you have a QR code reader, directly scan it and then open this. So all of you have done this? So I'll just give you 1 minute time to copy this link onto your browser and open it.
etc.ch
http etc.ch/Ly4p. http://2// small case etc dot small case ch / capital L capital Y 4 capital P. Or the simple way, if you have a mobile on hand, just open your QR reader in the mobile and then read the QR code that will take you to the
etc.ch /
2//. So now I'm stop sharing. So hope you all copied.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see anything in the chat box. I have only one hand raising. I don't know. There are 12 people who raised the hand. Fine. So now I think all can see. Now, what is the screen you are looking at?
Presenter will start the poll. Please stay tuned.
So you all get a screen opening saying that a poll will be starting, right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So now I'll start the poll and I'll have 3 questions to you. And every question will have 1 minute each, and you need to give the poll and submit. So I'm going to start. Did the first question appear? All of you can see in your browsers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So NEP 20 on integration of school education with higher education. So 22 people, 23 answered, 24, 25, 27. I think we have the strength of 50, 29 answered, 31, 32. 34. 23 yet to do. 23 people yet to do. 35. 38. 'So I stopped it. I have got 40 votes. So I'll just see. And I am going to the next question. What the second question?
The policy is
Yes,
built
sir.
on the four.
The policy is built on the 4 foundation pillars of access, equity, equality, equality, and you got 3 choices. Time is running out. I want the participants to be fast. I think in the meantime I can have tea. So I could able to get only 35 votes for the second question, whereas I got 40 for the first question. Well, so I'm stopping. I'm closing this. I'm going for the next question. So 36 is the number of participants who responded for the second question. Now I'm going to the third one. It is just true or false. Establish higher education institutions and professional institutions to evolve into multidisciplinary institutions, including legal and medical. True or false? "29, 30. 32. I think participants have given up in answering the questions. So well, I'm countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm stopping. So 33. So I could able to get the attention of 40 participants for the question 1 and the 36 participants for my question 2 and the 33 participants for my question 3, right? So for the question 1, out of 40 people, only 12 are correct. Do you know what is the right answer? The right answer is NEP 2020 focused more on integration of school education with higher education to make students industry ready and enhance the GER. So only 12 people out of 40. Last question.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Screen is not shared, sir.
Not shared. 1 minute. 1 minute. Hold on. See here. You can see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
So only 12 participants. And coming to the second one, the policy is built on the 4 foundation pillars of equity and quality, and the right answer is affordability and accountability. 19 participants out of 36 cleared. It's almost 50%, and earlier it is less than 50%. And third question is establish higher education institutions and professional institutions to evolve into multidisciplinary institutions, including legal and medical. It is false. It is not including, it is excluding actually. So only 9 people said it is false. So that is a 9 out of 33. So I think that I need to understand that people, I do not know, I cannot comment directly, but it talks about the attentiveness of the people who are there participating online. So this is like, no, this is also something like a lesson for all of us when we are using these ICT tools for students, typically for the online classes. We think that everybody is following us. You know, this is what reflects ultimately. Now, are they really following us? Are they really catching up in the topics? What is that you are teaching in the class is very, very important. So this I'm not going to give any marks or grades for this. It is only to just to understand and make you all people understand that in online and usage of ICT tools, typically for online education, making the students engaged and keeping the engagement of the students with the teacher is very, very important. I hope you all agree with me, right? I at least I expect some sort of prompting from you all, and keep your mic open, and I expect prompting. So it will be something like, no, when I ask a question, at least you should say yes or no or whatever it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is what.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good, good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think this post-lunch session is a little bit difficult. Probably you're put on the screen and you're gone and a small nap. That could be the reason. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry for that. Well, so I'll stop sharing the screen and go back to the presentation now again. Right? So now everybody can see the presentation?
No, sir.
No, 1 minute. Done?
Yes, sir.
Direct poll came.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So this is the place where we got, paused, right?
Yes, sir.
After this, this is the screen where you pause. Next, move on to the assessments of learning abilities that are focused in higher education. What are those abilities of those students which are mainly focused in higher education as per the new education policy? See, when we are testing the student in the class, it could be whatever education. So we ultimately, teacher should know that what are those abilities that need to be tested. So here, typically in this new policy, the abilities that are tested for the are one is students' ability to apply the core skills to everyday task. That is one ability that is to be more focused on testing. Similarly, students' approach towards complex challenges. That means the perception of the student towards complex challenges. That is ability of the student, and the other one is the student how they face their changing their environment. That means adaptability. So here, when you look at the first ability, the students applying the core skills to the everyday task, they all talk about their foundational literacies. That means foundational literacies means that the basic requirement of a student. So the foundation literacies are the basic requirements of the students, which are to be assessed as per the new education policy. So what are those? One is literacy, the other one is numeracy, scientific literacy, ICT literacy, and financial literacy, cultural and civic literacy. So these are some of that means basic information that the student is expected and to know, and those are the things to be assessed by the teachers to understand their ability to apply their core skills to solve the everyday tasks. And the second one is talking about competencies. Competencies means what is a competency is nothing but the ability of a person to the perception towards a challenging problem. So how students approach the complex challenges. That means what is that ability? It could be critical thinking and problem solving skills. It could be creativity and the type of communication skills what he had, and also the collaborative skills. So these are the skills which will be tested, which will coming under the individual competencies. And the third one, they're facing their changing environment. How students approach their changing environment. That means, are they really curious? Are they really having that initiative, that is perseverance? And the other one is persistent. Persistent means continuously pushing on in grit. Adaptability. Adaptability means ability to change into the circumstances. And then leadership, leading the people to solve the problems. And finally, the social and cultural awareness. So obviously, these are the three areas. One is fundamental literacies, competencies, character qualities. These are the three areas where the student need to be assessed. How the student apply core skills to everyday tasks, how students approach complex challenges, how students approach their changing environment. So these are the things which are to be assessed and more focused as far as the new policy is concerned. Now, what are the major changes that are there seen in the structure and length of the UG and PG programs as far as the new policy is concerned, and also in the context of multidisciplinary flexibility and credit carryover system, more at micro level? If you look at what are the real changes that are seen in the structure and length of the courses. You all know that in the current system, typically if you take engineering as an example, for a student to get degree, the student need to go for 4-year program. The student need to join and has to do 4-year program, and minimum 4 years. Without minimum 4-year program, he'll not get any degree at all. And the other one is there is no possibility for exit at any level or a year of study. For example, the student want to exit at first year and then our second year and go and do something else. There is no scope, because the entire time spent, the entire money spent will go waste. And in case of exit or discontinued, degree will be forfeited. So this is as simple as that. The existing system is there. Now, moving on to the changes that are there, which are seen in the new education policy. The policy permits multiple entry and multiple exit. That means a student who takes admission in first year, after first year he can exit, go elsewhere, do something else for 2 years and come back and again get readmitted. So there is no limit for number of entries and number of exits. That is one high flexibility that is there envisaged in the new education policy. The second point is UG program. In UG program, typically if you take engineering, engineering has got now will be given an option to do a 3-year degree or 4-year degree. The student will be given an option to complete BTech course in 3 years or 4 years. So 4th year is optional. 4th year will be optional. So by default, degree will be 3 years.
So now in that context, now if a student exits after the first year, what will happen? The student will be eligible to get a vocational degree. Similarly, if a student exits at second year, he will be given a diploma degree. If the student exit at the third year, he'll get BTech degree. And fourth year is optional. So it is something like honors. Fourth year will be honors, and basic degree will be 3 years. And at every level of exit, first year, second year, third year, there is a degree awarded to the student, which ultimately makes sure that student get benefit of the courses what he has taken till that point of time. So that is what flexibility that is being seen and viewed in the new education policy. Similarly, in the PG programs, the student has option of doing the PG program in 1 year or 2 years. And also there is a scope for offering 5-year bachelor's degree, integrated 5-year bachelor's degree and master's degree. So when we have an integrated 5 years bachelor's and master's, student will have an exit after 4 years and then go out of bachelor's degree, skipping out the master's degree. That is one option. Similarly, academic credit carryover system. That means student can earn credits from different higher education institutions with multidisciplinary areas and get degree. I'll tell you, for example, student does the program for 2 years in engineering. He will get credits for 2 years, and then he exits and ultimately gets into an agricultural school. Does 1 more year or 2 years, get the credits. The combination of these 2 credits will be taken into account for award of the degree, the flexibility as such. That means with relevance or without relevance, the credits acquired in a given year in one institution will remain as it is. They will not get lapsed. Rather, these credits will be deposited in academic bank of credits, and the government is going to establish ABC, academic bank of credits. Academic bank of credits is a repository of the credits of a given student who does the program across the country in any institution. So that is the type of flexibility that is being envisaged, and also the programs also. They offer for the student will have an option of doing 1 year in engineering, 1 year in pharmacy, 1 year in agriculture, 1 year in education as such. So ultimately, all the credits put together, he will get a degree finally. For this, the Borders apprentice is not very clear, because if the program is taken up in 3 different institutions, what should be the title of the degree is a question mark again. A highly enabled flexible NEP that has been proposed, but still there are a lot of doubts behind for the execution. Now coming to the institutional restructuring and clustering. As of now, we have affiliated colleges. Affiliated colleges are self-financing colleges, or it could be government financing colleges. And these colleges can have research or cannot have research, but we all believe that all the academic institutions should have academics and research has to go hand in hand. But to support the people and based on the interest, they made into 3 clusters. So here, the more emphasis is on research. For example, in any institution, they can become like a research intensive universities. If more weightage is given for the research, that can be structured, named as research intensive universities. And if more importance is given to only teaching, they're called as teaching intensive universities. And there are some institutions that come directly about degree. So they are called as autonomous degree granting institutions. So these are the 3 types of institutional restructuring that is being envisaged in the new education policy. And this is done through a suitable system of graded accreditation and graded autonomy. And in a phased manner, in the next 15 years, all the educations in India will aim to become independent, self-financed governing institutions pursuing innovation and excellence. So down the line, all the institutions will come into 3 baskets. One is institution that can grant degrees. As of now, only universities can give degrees, but as per the new education policy is concerned, there can be autonomous degree granting colleges. Similarly, there can be teaching intensive universities. Those universities, they are more focused only on teaching. They don't do any research. Similarly, research intensive universities, those are universities where they more focus on research and they don't much focus on teaching. So this is the way how the institutions will be classified down the line in the next 15 years. Now again, I have one more poll on this. You're all ready? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. We are ready, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I request all the people to note the link. Or read the QR code directly. Once you are done with, I'll stop sharing and directly
Hey, Nana Bande, Durspra Bande.
http://etc/etc/small_x_oo_Q. You all are done?
Yes, sir.
Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are noted. So
Yes, sir.
what is the screen you are seeing? Poll open. Yet to open.
No, sir.
Yet to
Sir,
open.
your presenter will start the poll. Please stay tuned.
Yet to start, right?
Yes, sir.
Yet to start. That's good. That's good. Now I'll stop sharing the screen.
Sir, can you once
I'll
again show that web link, sir?
Yes. Somebody's saying something. Sorry. Please come again.
Sir, can you once again post that link, sir?
You want me to open it again? Link? Just hold on.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the link now? You all can see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm again stopping sharing the screen. Now I'll start the poll. You all can got the question? People started answering. 4 people answered. 7, 8. 21, 22. The question is, what is the major program level restructuring initiative? $35, $36, $37, $39. Understand the question very clearly. It is a major program level restructuring. $46, $47. Can you see the second question? Say yes or no.
Noted, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not getting.
Yes.
Noted, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not
Yes, sir.
visible, sir.
Can you see? Yeah, people started answering. What is a major institutional restructuring initiative? Graded autonomy, degree granting institutions, teaching research intensive institutions. Forty-three people answered. Five. 46, 47, 48. Done. Thank you. I'm stopping the poll. Right. Well, I'll share screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So this is the
Yes, sir.
key. What is a major program level restructuring initiative?
The question yet to come, sir.
Sorry?
Question yet to come, sir. Not getting
Done.
there.
Already, I have closed it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I have closed it.
Okay, sir.
Choices are not visible, sir.
Wait a minute. So when I'm opening the multiple screens, I think. So 63 votes. And next one is, see here, what is a major program level restructuring initiative? So 49% said right. You can see the graph, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See here. But the first question, it is degree granting institutions. At the institution level restructuring. Teaching and research is an activity based. So the right answer is degree granting institutions. So well, I'll stop sharing here again and go back to the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Back.
Yes,
Fine.
yes.
Now, when we had this what is this institutional restructuring, there is a process for getting into this. That is, there are three levels during which this institution restructuring is done. So it is done in a 4-stage evolution method. So here, the first stage, autonomy degree granting college, or a teaching intensity university, or a research intensity university, or finally into a constituent college of university. So these are the 4 stages how the transformation takes place for the existing institutions into a by default in the 4th stage, every institution will be a constituent college of university, which will be allowed to give degrees to the students directly. So, and this is where looked at in the next 15 years. And as far as the graded autonomy is concerned, when you look at graded autonomy, initially academic autonomy will be given, and in the second stage administrative autonomy will be given, and in the third stage financial autonomy will be given. And again, this is also envisaged in the next 15 years. Now, the standalone higher education institutions and professional education will evolve into multidisciplinary education by 2040. That means it is expected. And also the language of instruction can be given an option to have any local Indian language. And that is a reason in the recent past also ACT is making a lot of effort in translating the engineering textbooks into local, state level, regional languages. And third one is option to run open distance learning and online programs, provided if the institutions are accredited to do so and promote blended learning. This is a very, very important and crucial point that is there in the new education policy, which is promoting online learning. As of now, and I think some of you also must have experienced it during the COVID, our local universities did not even allow online examination for some of our students, right? Even now, online examination is not formally allowed, but the new education policy is very, very liberal, and it is offering open distance learning and completely in online mode. So, and they say that the degree that is obtained online is equivalent to degree obtained in the offline mode. And phasing out single stream higher education in a phased manner. For example, there will be no down the line we will not have exclusive engineering colleges at all. There will be colleges, we have a mix of various professional specializations. And similarly, all the institutions will be simply named as universities, but not colleges. And technical institutions focus on preparing the professionals on cutting edge technologies related to artificial intelligence, 3D machining, big data analytics, and machine learning. These are some of the changes that are there expected, and these are the key takeaways which are there from the new education policy. So from this, what you understand is the new education policy for all the reforms that is being introduced and being suggested, the online learning is a must. So without that, when we go for online learning, we should also take into the change in the completely or the shift in the teaching pedagogy. That also need to be very, very cautiously and consciously taken. Look at this. So there is a paradigm shift in teaching and learning as far as the 21st century education system is concerned. There is always an imbalance between teaching and learning. So always the teacher thinks that whatever the teacher is delivering in the class is expected to be taken by the student. On the other side, the student expects that whatever the student is able to understand, the teacher is expected to deliver. Is it happening? So to ensure that there is a sufficient balance between teaching and learning happening, normally people go for assessment. So assessment is not only a way to understand the real balance between teaching and learning. So now initially, if you look at conventional teaching process, the existing system is completely teacher centric. Now in the paradigm shift moving towards 21st century education system, the teacher centric education system is getting into student centric education system. It is a completely a changeover. Earlier, whatever the teacher says, student has to take. But now, whatever the student want, the teacher should be in a position to give. It is the other way. So that is the reason now when we are moving from teacher-centric to student-centric, all the teachers who are there in higher educations, they need to change and they need to become change agents. If you don't change, ultimately, you will become the victim of changes. You will be lost in the race. So here, while doing so, there is another a point also to be very, very carefully observed. While the system is moving from teacher-centric to student-centric, there is one more point which is changing in the learning domains. What the learning is there happening in knowledge, learning is there happening in skill. So here, earlier the knowledge completely the learning is in knowledge domain. Now it is skill domain. So similarly, just like the way the change is happening from teacher-centric to student-centric, learning is also moving from knowledge-based to skill-based education system. And the other point is design thinking. Again, this is another 21st century quality that we need to look at. So these are some of the very, very important points to be noted down in the paradigm shift in teaching and learning, typically for the 21st century skills. So if you just see the figure there out, there is a fencing and ultimately there is a need for shift of the fencing. So obviously, if you resist this, ultimately you'll be victimized in the changes. So it is must. So all teachers, I advise all the teachers who are there who need to get used to the new systems. If you don't get used to the new systems, you will be lost in the race and ultimately get victimized. So this is another scenario to explain about moving from the teacher-centric to the student-centric. In the olden days, the teacher is like a sage on the stage where the student used to stand on the dais and then teach whatever he likes, and ultimately student has to listen and take whatever the teacher teaches. So the student has no option of deciding what to learn. But now the complete scenario is different. Now it has moved to a situation where a guide on the side. So now teacher is now just like a guide on the side. He is not a completely like a sage on the stage. So he will be a person stand beside the student and he will be not a teacher, he will be a facilitator. So teachers are now more of facilitating nature rather than teaching. So ultimately they facilitate the learning to happen and they make the learning happen and they make the students to learn the things, not specifically the knowledge, and they learn the skills. So this is very, very important for the teachers to understand and internalize. If you don't internalize this, if you don't really take the right spirit of this, ultimately it will be very difficult for us to survive in teaching. Now, what are those skills which are really needed in this 21st century education system? What are those skills where the students need to be trained? One is critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration across networks and leading by influence, agility and adaptability, that is frequent changes, very dynamic situation, and also your ability to accept the changes, initiative and entrepreneurialism, effective oral and written communication, accessing and analyzing information, and finally curiosity and imagination. These are all the skills which comes under this 21st century education system, and these are the skills which will be tested for the students in the future. It is
The screen is visible, sir.
In fact, I lost power. In my room, I lost power. Okay. Fine. Then there's critical thinking. In the critical thinking, focus on critical thinking, inquiry, discovery, discussion and analysis based teaching and learning methods for holistic education. These are the points to be covered in the curriculum of the related to critical thinking. Similarly, interactive classes, interactive teaching with dependency on the textbook learning, questions from students will be promoted. That means here that is a reason nowadays students are not referring textbooks. Ultimately, it comes by questioning. The other one is experiential learning. Experiential learning means the ability of the student to learn by doing, learn by interacting, and learn by experiencing. This is through fun, creative activities, collaborative and explorative activities in the classroom for experiential learning and the deeper student learning. So that's what ultimately deeper reinforces the learning of the student. So these are some of the curriculum aspects need to be introduced so that the 21st century skills are inculcated in the students and they are assessed. Well, you're all ready for one more check?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I request all of you to take the link. http://etc/4a8i. If you all have a mobile phone, it will be much easier. You can directly scan and get into that. But anyhow, if you are working on a laptop or a desktop, you can just copy the link and then open the browser. Can I stop sharing? Again.
Yeah, program meant to start. Okay, okay.
You're all still seeing the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to start the poll. So this has again 2 questions for you. Can you all see this question?
Yes, sir. First question visible.
Yes. Name the 8 to 21st century skills that the industry is looking at. Shivashankari? Shivashankari?
Hello, sir.
What is the time left?
Actually, your time has come. It is 4:30, sir.
4:30, yeah? No, I'm time left or I'm exceeding?
Just we have come to our scheduled time.
Okay, fine. I'll not take more than 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay,
That depends on only the way the people who are responding. 28, 29.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So 30 people responded. So I'm moving to the next question. Can you see the second question?
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see the second question? Seventeen. $31. Well, I'm stopping the poll. Time is up. So 32 participants answered the first question and 33 answered the second question. Saving the poll. You have any bandwidth connectivity problem?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you see the screen?
No, sir.
Can you see the screen now?
No, sir.
Sir, not visible.
Not visible, not shared.
No, sir. No screen was shared.
Fine, I'll do it again. I think before this power on and off, I think you're having some problems.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because of
Now
that.
it's open. Now you can see.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Able to see?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now it is coming.
Got it? Yes.
No.
Got it?
No, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Now only it is visible.
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Visible? Right, right. Thank you. Thank you. So the name of any two 21st century skills that the industry is looking at. So 48% of the participants could able to give the right answer, and 36% the second option, and 14% third option. What are the important curriculum aspects need to be improved in 21st century skills? 60% answered right.
Screen is seized, sir.
Screen got freeze.
Yes, sir.
I think there is some because of the I think thunderstorm is coming. In fact, we have a thunderstorm here on the campus.
Now it is clear, sir. Now it is clear.
Now it is clear. Now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Good.
Now it is visible, sir.
So this is the second question.
Background of the
So
screen
here
was so dark, so we are unable to see what's the answer, sir.
you are unable to see the colors.
Yeah, color
Yes, of course.
visible.
The background was black.
Yes.
Background is
Like-
black. In fact, the what is that?
The words are also not able. Now it's yes, sir. The first option is visible, but remaining options are not able to visible.
In fact, the text is also in the same color as that of the bar. For example, the bar is in orange color. The text is also in the same orange color. Anyhow, that I don't have control on here as of now. We can change the option, but as of now, I don't have the control. Well, so now we'll go back to the presentation. Okay. So now, in the earlier case, I told that we have the various domains of learning. We have three domains of learning, as you all know that one is cognitive domain, where we test the knowledge, and the other one is experiential and psychometric domain, we get the skills, and the other one is affective domain, where it talks about the attitudes. So here now there are various courses where we more focus on knowledge, and there are some courses where we focus on skills. So typically the assessment is purely on the knowledge-based assessment in all the earlier cases. But now, as for the new education policy is concerned, the more focus is on the experiential learning and skill-based learning. So I think all the faculty members, while designing the question paper and then assessment, we need to be very cautious in what is that domain we are there. Are we in cognitive domain or in the psychometric domain? So this domain, understanding the domain of assessment is very, very important for every teacher. Now, when we move on to this usage of technology, as far as the education policy is concerned, to enhance the gross enrollment ratio and also to promote blended learning, this is overall the picture that explains about the transition between the earlier conventional brick and mortar type classroom to the online learning. Here, earlier we used to have the teachers face to face, and now it is completely on virtual line, and we have conversation, negotiation, interaction, and then collaboration and application directly there in the face to face. And now in the virtual mode we have more authentic content, and we have a lot of feedback options. We have got progress monitoring system, report writing, everything is there. So but now the new education policy is more focusing on blend of these two. And implementation of this technology in teaching learning process is completely enforced and is made mandatory for all the systems. Apart from teaching learning, this technology is also expected to get integrated in education planning, and then administration and management, and also regulation, self-disclosure, and minimum human interface, and increasing the access of disadvantaged groups. In all these areas, if the technology integration is there implemented, obviously it will end up in a big revolution of completely changing the scenario of the teaching learning process. Now, I'll just throw some light on the various modes of online teaching. Now, coming back to specifically on the online teaching, you all know that the online teachings are basically of two types. One is synchronous and asynchronous mode of delivery. The synchronous mode of delivery means what? It is that the thing what is happening right now, what I'm doing now. So I'm directly communicating. Everybody simultaneously can hear in your, but you are not in the same room. You're not in the same room, but located in different locations. But we always have a scope of communication between one-to-one and also one-to-group also. So that is where the teacher and student we will have immediate feedback, and also similarly from teacher to student and teacher to student to teacher, both will happen. So that is called synchronous mode of delivery. And how about asynchronous mode of delivery? There, the teaching learning happens through pre-recorded online classes, just like the way how the Coursera class are happening, you all know. So like in Swayam and Coursera, there will be some video content available. It is up to the student to go get into that, log in, learn on his self-paced mode, and then learn. So here there is no direct interaction with the teacher while the learning is happening. But the other way, in the synchronous mode, there is a direct interaction with the teacher when the learning is happening. So this is a basic difference. But now, even though in the earlier stages, this type of classification is made now, the so-called asynchronous mode is also giving a virtual reality. The so-called virtual reality makes the asynchronous mode into synchronous, and something like a hybrid mode. Even though the content is in pre-recorded mode, there will be a system, an intelligent system in the LMS, wherein it gives a feel that the person who is learning is being interacted continuously and being followed. So it is like AI-based LMS systems are coming in, where it is becoming more effective when compared with the synchronous mode. So that is there's a continuous development going in this online teaching mode. This I'm just to give a flavor of what is really the difference between synchronous and asynchronous mode. But I'm not going to give in detail or going in depth with regard to this online teaching methodologies. And from this figure, I think you all understand what I'm trying to conclude on this. Typically, for all the knowledge or skill, the type of assessment plays a role. And we all know we have class of students of 60 or varying to 60 to 80 or something like that. And everybody have their own skill. So from this, what do you understand? How is the question paper set in your classroom? It always remains same for everybody. But there is always an agreement, an argument in this. Everybody have their own skills, and the people need to be tested based on their ability and skills. So everybody is genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. So here we have I think it is in a very fun mode. The picture has been made to make people really understand the different variety of the students who will be sitting in your class, and every student will have a different skill. But it is to the responsibility of this teacher to ensure that when we are having a common question paper, the question paper should try to test only the common attributes, not the specific attributes. That's what. And another one is, I just give one a slide and then close my lecture today. That is with regard to the online. A person who is taking online, you doesn't know who I am, right? Where I am sitting, what I am doing. Similarly, the teacher also doesn't know what the student is doing, what it is, something like that. Look at this figure. On the internet, nobody knows that you are a dog. I do not know how many of the participants are there before the screen. You might have kept the screen on and you might have left. You must be doing something else. So at the end of the day, for the success of every system depends on the sincerity. To what extent we all believe the system, ultimately we need to have the value system in making it successful. So though the teacher takes efforts in taking the class, that depends on the sincerity of the students who appears before the systems and makes an effort, ultimately seeking. Until unless the student seeks the education, the learning doesn't happen. Learning is not automatic. Learning need to be sought. So without seeking, learning doesn't happen. So that's what I want to finally say. And I strongly believe that the new education policy is going to support the online education. And once online education is being supported, online degrees are being awarded, which is equivalent to offline degrees. The need of the faculty member to get tuned with the ICT tools is a mandate. If you still feel that I want to go out and take a class only on chalk and talk and I'll not take online class, ultimately the change is inevitable. If you don't change, ultimately you will be ultimately victimized in the change. So with this, I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to have this interaction for these 1.5 hours. And I'm sure that I have given some information and triggered some sort of thought process in you all, so that which will help you in your teaching learning process. Thank you all, and thank you very much.
Sir, thank you for wonderful talk, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
the last second slide, last but the previous.
1 minute. You want to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
1 minute. I'll share it again. Is this you are looking?
Yes, sir, correct. Sir, according to this picture, how NEP will different from the old education policy, sir?
So an NEP is looking at skill based, not knowledge based.
Yeah, correct. Now, see, we are giving question paper, same question paper to all students, the same question paper.
Yes.
So, okay,
yes.
no, as per the NEP, by looking at this picture, so we cannot give same question paper to every student, because as you told, everyone is unique.
Exactly. That means now there are 200 engineering colleges in the university. Let us say.
Yeah.
So now as of now, till today, we believe that the question paper should be same for all 200 colleges.
Correct.
That need not be.
Okay.
Because ultimate, that's what now. See, if I'll just give a small example, you want to make students learn swimming. How do you make them learn? Will you make them learn by explaining swimming on the board, or take them to the swimming pool?
Yeah, definitely, we should take them to swimming pool.
We can't explain. So it is the wisdom and maturity of the teacher to identify what are those things, aspects which come under cognitive domain, what are those aspects which come under skill domain.
Okay.
And the assessment will be for skills, not for the knowledge. Because the industry is looking for skilled manpower rather than knowledge manpower. As I say, that knowledge is as important as skill, but still industry is looking at people who are more skilled rather than knowledgeable. I may have knowledge, but if I don't have skill of implementing the knowledge, of no use.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is what I'm looking at.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So you mean knowledge is basic? They have to utilize and make a skill.
Knowledge is the base. See, I'm not saying we should not have knowledge. Apart from knowledge, ultimately we used to stop at testing only the knowledge. Okay. But industry is looking beyond the knowledge.
Okay.
Ability of a person to implement the knowledge is skill.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, thank you very much. Any queries further? Shankari, how many are left?
Now we have 76.
So thank you for a wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, it was very good, sir. Really, I impressed, sir, personally.
May I know who you are from?
Myself, Ramakrishna Rao, sir, from Geetam University, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Almost 80 are attending, sir. All are attending throughout the session, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you all for patiently listening.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, on behalf of the organizing committee of this 5-day online FDP on ICT tools for teaching learning pedagogy. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time from your busy schedule to be a guest speaker at our FDP. So your presence and wise words helped magnify our cause in the best possible way. So all thanks to your enlightened words that inspired so many participants out there. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, shall we let us move on to valedictory session, sir?
Yes, thank you.
So good evening to all the participants. I welcome you all for the valedictory function for the 5 days online FDP on ICT tools for teaching learning pedagogy, which has been started at 23rd August, and today is the last date we are winding up the FDP. And about the FDP, the day one on 23rd August, the session one was started by Dr. Edamina Prasad sir in the topic of effective teaching, and followed by in the afternoon session, it was handled by Dr. Sajan Philip in the topic of presentation tools from Banaraman Institute of Technology, Satyamangala, and further it has been extended to session 3 as how to run a live survey or online test in a classroom for a short duration. So which was given by Dr. S. Rajarajan from Sri Sairam Institute of Technology, and followed by Art of Learning. So how a teacher being in a learner perspective. So it was delivered in a very nice way by Dr. Muruganandam sir from Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai. And followed by we have instructional strategies for effective implementation of outcome-based education. So which was given by Dr. K.S. Giridharan from NITTR, Chennai. With the continuation, we have proceeded with accreditation and teaching learning process by Dr. L. Govindarao sir from GMR Institute of Technology, Rajam. And on the fourth day, the session 7 was handled by Dr. K. Krishna Kishore from GMRIT in the topic of a pedagogical approach on a blended learning and evaluation. Then with this continuation, it has been taken to effective teaching and mentoring, a pedagogical approach by Dr. V. Yuvaraj from Sri Sairam Institute of Technology, Chennai. And today, the last day, the morning session, we have tools and applications for education 4.0 classrooms, which was given by Dr. Suganti ma'am from Sri Sairam Institute of Technology. And in the last session, which was given by our principal sir, Dr. CLV RSV Prasad sir, as a topic of NEP 2020 and enabler for online teaching and learning. So we are now at the end of this session, and we are very glad to inform you that the objective of this FDP is, with the advancement in technology and changes in the learning methods in teaching, this FDP has been aimed to prepare the faculty fraternity in learning and new techniques of teaching for the graduate and postgraduate students. So the objective of this FDP is to prepare faculty for their role as motivators, facilitators, mentors, and guide for helping students in achieving the excellence. I hope that objective was fulfilled, and I'm now requesting our head of the department, Yogesh Mishra sir, to welcome all the participants. Over to Mishra sir.
Thank you, madam. Madam, you are getting the voice?
Yes, sir.
So now we
Yes,
are very much close to the end of this 5-day faculty development program. The topic was ICT tools for teaching learning pedagogy, and this program, as madam said, jointly organized by GMR Institute of Technology, Rajam, Andhra Pradesh, and Sri Sairam Institute of Technology, Chennai. So it started on 23rd August. Now, on behalf of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department of GMR Institute of Technology, I am thankful to the management of both the institutes for guiding us to organize this event. And especially I would like to mention the names Dr. CLV RSB Prasad, Principal GMR Institute of Technology, Rajam, Dr. J. Girish, Director GMR Varalakshmi Foundation, Rajam, Dr. K. Palani Kumar, Principal Sri Sai Ram Institute of Technology, Chennai, Sri Sai Prakash Leo Muthu, Chairman and CEO, Sri Sai Ram Institute, Chennai. And we know that a program is not as successful unless there is active participation from the participants. So I am thankful to all the participants, and I also congratulate all the participants to successfully completing the program. And I hope that whatever new tricks or new tools in the teaching, learning, pedagogy they learn here in this FDP, maybe they may use in their institute also. I am thankful to all the resource persons for sparing themselves from their busy schedule, because without providing the proper input, there was no use of this type of program. So they have given very good input. As we have seen the feedbacks also from the participants, they were very happy. And finally, I congratulate all the coordinators for successfully completing this FDP. And especially, I would like to name Dr. A. Shiv Sangri, Assistant Professor, GMR Institute of Technology, and Dr. Sugandhi, Associate Professor, Sri Sai Ram Institute of Technology, Chennai. So with these words, I stop here. Now over to Madam.
Now I request our Principal Dr. CLV RSB Prasad sir to say or address the participants. Principal sir.
Sir, can.
Yes, Shiv Shankar, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this 5-day FDP, and also giving me a chance to be a resource person for one of the topic related to NEP, and it's as an enabler for the online teaching learning process. So I thank all, and also I'd like to thank all the participants for being patient and listening to me for the last 1.5 hours. And I'm sure that this is going to be a good exercise between Sai Ram College and GMR IT. And I think this is the second time we are collaborating with the college, and I'm sure that this type of collaborations will continue in future. And both the colleges will do programs of this nature in future, and not only in the teaching pedagogy, we'll be always also doing the programs in the subject matter related issues, typically for the any branch. I think now EC department is collaborating, right? If I'm not wrong, Shiv Shankari?
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I want other departments of this Sai Ram College also. So I request the principal and authorities of Sai Ram College of other to connect to the other departments, so that this type of vibrant collaborative approach will be there among all the departments, respective departments, so that this will be taken up on a very sustained mode. It is not just in between one department. It will be just like in two different colleges. So I want all the departments of GMRIT, similarly in all departments of Sai Ram College, to collaborate and come up with the innovative programs for the faculty development. And I thank once again the Sairam College and all the participants for being a part of this. And I'm sure that this 5 days program, the participants might have got a lot of takeaway from this. And I expect all the faculty members to be more sincere in taking away and implementing the ICT, because in the implementation of ICT tools, it will be a little bit difficult for the people to learn the technology and implement. But once you learn the technology and start implementing it, you'll really enjoy it. I think that when you start enjoying, you will not lose the technology. At the same time, technology should be something like an enhancer for quality of teaching learning, but it should not be something like make faculty members lazy and to not reduce work. The usage of ICT tools is not to reduce the work of a teacher. It is ultimately the usage is to enhance the quality of teaching learning. So I want that spirit to be carried in the right way, and I request all the participants to take it in a positive way. All the best. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
You are on mute, Shivshankar. You are on mute, I think. Shivshankar, you are on mute. Okay, please carry on. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, it is not audible, ma'am.
Hello.
Voice is not audible.
Yeah, now it is okay. Now it is okay, madam.
It is okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes. So I thank all the participants for being here and joining with us for the valedictory function of this 5-day online FDP on ICT tools for teaching learning pedagogy. And I would like to convey my thanks to Sairam Institute of Technology for collaborating with GMR Institute of Technology. Finally, we received 510 registrations from the 12 states of across the India. So namely from Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Pondicherry, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Haryana and Jharkhand. So these are the 12 states across the India we received the participants, and on an average on a daily basis we have 100 participants. So it gives an immense pleasure to have you all on this continuous attentive for this 5 days FDP. So I thank and congratulate all the participants for being with us. So thank you all.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
And the link for the attendance and the certificate will be provided in the chat box as well as in the Telegram group. So there will be a test which is comprised of 10 questions, MCQs. So out of 10 questions, 40% has to be possessed for getting a certificate. And attendance of 80% of attendance has to be attended for all the out of all the 10 sessions. So that is the eligibility criteria for getting a certificate.
Madam, before closing,
Yes,
if any participant want to give his feedback right now, he can also give his feedback. Yes, anyone?
Yes, sir. The forum is open. The forum is open. We welcome any participants to give your valuable feedbacks.
So that we can improve in future also.
Yes, sir.
So myself, good evening. Myself, Vallarasa from Erode Sengundar Engineering College. This session will be very useful, sir. All the 5 day session will be very useful for us, sir. We faculties or 4 members are attending the session. It will be very easy, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, madam. This is Ramakrishna Rao from Geetam University.
Yes, sir.
Actually, in the morning we have section the different tools for this interactive teaching and learning process. So for all those softwares, if demo sessions was there, it will be very helpful to all teachers. Just we heard the software names, but actually we don't know how to use what and all features are there in each software. Is something of demonstrative kind, models, or how to use, what are the specific features available for the teachers. If that particular tools and application part, if you orient, it will be more helpful for the teachers. Madam. This is my personal perception, madam.
Okay, sir. We will try a level best, sir. If it is any possibility is there, definitely we will share with your to you all through Telegram group.
Thank you.
This is also good feedback, because whatever tools we are having, if we are demonstrating, that is also good idea, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yogesh, can I exit?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you for
Bye.
attending.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, madam. So we can end the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Or
so
if
feedback
anyone,
link.
yes.
Is there any participant wants to share your feedback? I think there are no more queries, sir. So
Okay,
thank
madam.
you all. Thank you all for your patience, for listening all the 10 sessions on this 5 days FDP.
Madam.
Please kindly fill the feedback. Yes, sir.
Madam, if it's better, can you share that test link or feedback link to the mail, madam? Because so many people there, they may attempt through laptop or desktops.
No, sir. No, sir. Because we have in the Telegram group we have only 200 participants.
Mm-hmm.
So active participants, I can say. So
Okay,
it cannot
okay.
be sent through mail.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay.
A mail left from the meeting, ma'am. Is it completed?
Yes, sir. We will share the link, that certificate link in the Telegram group, sir. It will be active up to 8 o'clock.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
A. Shivashankari, ma'am.
Thank
you.
Thank you, sir.
Where is the feedback link?
Yeah. Feedback as well as the certificate link is the single link. You need to fill it before 8 p.m. In that, 10 MCQs has been asked. So
Okay,
40% of questions has to be cleared off.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
So in chat box, it is